Good morning, everyone. Happy to the week one of the Beautiful Diamond Heart Project. The full program, full 16 weeks, and here we are. This is the first week and the first offering, the first video. And there's other many videos on the Diamond Heart Project page, but here is the one for us for 2026, the first opening of this project and the beautiful offering. It just fills my heart to be part of it. Anytime I sit down to work anything on the project, there's just this overflowing sense of joy and a level of completion anytime there's any kind of effort put towards the Diamond Heart Project. And so I'm so grateful to offer this, and so enjoy that you're receiving it and this beautiful relationship that each one of us have together and as a community and as a group. So thank you for being here, watching this video, and all the ways you add to the evolution of the quantum realm in just your presence and what you offer without having to do or accomplish anything, just because your being is living in the quantum realm of existence. It is making a huge impact. And so some of these teachings are going to be about just how we navigate that field of influence and connection with the deeper part of ourselves. As you know, the Diamond Heart Project is all about connecting to the inner wisdom and access point of the heart. And just a reminder is that the heart is the first organ that's created in the womb. And literally it's how our frequency or our energy, or you might call your soul, comes into existence. And it literally comes through the heart channel. And every part of your heart has created all of who you are. Your brain, your eyes, your skin, your nerves, your hair, every part of yourself was created actually biologically through the heart space. And so this is our access point to our life. And not just to our life, but to the physical realm of experience. Remember, you are a energetic being, a frequency, having a physical, biological experience with itself. And as well as a biological experience with all of creation that you are a part of. And having a deeper understanding, and more importantly, it's not so much of a cognitive understanding, it's more about the experience of, that helps you really get clarity on this, because all of which I'm talking about is so much more easy to understand without words. And it comes from the point of experience. And so this program or project has always been the intention of activating an experience for you to live and connect to the space of the intelligence of the heart. The heart has more neurons than the brain, and so we can access more information from this energetic and biological piece within our system than we can anywhere else. And so this is what the program is about. And knowing I have a connection to each one of you that's in the program in this offering of the 2026, I'm kind of diving right in. We're not getting in the shallow end and kind of wading in the water. We're kind of diving into the place you can't touch. Not so much the deep end yet, but we're kind of diving in. And the topic for today was really about neutrality. And I mentioned it on the call a couple days ago, but this seems to be coming up a lot right now. And it's understanding that neutrality is the highest frequency. And the place of neutrality, you might call it no judgment. You might call it the place of supreme observation. You might call it the place of the clear awareness. So many references for it, but we're going to reference it as neutrality. And it's able just to witness things about what you think about, how you respond to things, your opinion on things, your judgment upon yourself, response to the grocery store, just really staying neutral with anything. And it's coming back to that central truth that everything in your life is happening for you, never to you, never against you. No matter if it's traumatic or challenging moments or blissful moments, it's always happening for your soul's evolution. And our souls come into the form, and they have this beautiful life experience as a human being, as an animal, as a plant, as a rock, as all these different expressions of life. And your consciousness grows through that process. You might call it your soul. The point is that everything in your life is happening for that growth. It could be a challenging conversation with a neighbor. It could be a blissful moment with a friend. Whatever it is, it could be an insight you receive as you walk the beach. Either way, it's always happening for the evolution of the soul. And so when you can just witness life as it comes through you and around you, and from a place of neutrality, you get to see the teachings or the offerings of what that experience is really looking to offer. And every moment in life is birth. Not just the moments you experience, but the moments in creation. Every moment that is birth, if you look at like a bubble coming up, it has everything that it needs in that bubble to complete its purpose of that moment. And the only thing that it needs, the only X factor, is how you show up in it. And in every moment, there's three things that can happen. You can either take an action, you can either hold space, or share your truth. There's really no other option besides those three in any moment that you get presented. And a moment could be a second, a moment could be an hour. There is no time length to a moment of how that happens. That's how the energy of unconditional love of God really works, because this is where it shows up. Again, unconditional love isn't so much the verb of action of love. It's understanding this energy is always giving back to itself unconditionally. There's no condition to it. It's always serving itself selflessly. So I know it's a tongue twister, but the point is it's always giving back to itself. So if you think about, like, if you cut your skin, within 7 days, the body's going to unconditionally love itself. And all of a sudden, that's no longer going to be there. It's going to bring itself back to balance. And that's how the energy of unconditional love works. And that's how the energy of the creation works. If you notice it, every single creation, every single plant, every single insect, every single animal has a purpose that complements the next. It's a beautiful design system that's whole and complete in how the entire makeup of expression of life works and complements itself. Even down to the fact that if we as a society have some kind of like sickness breakout or whatever it is in that area, say in a town they have the flu or something to that effect, Mother Earth will actually begin to grow medicine in the form of plants around that area to support the rebalancing of that flu. Even if that plant isn't organic, it's organic, but even if it's not a traditional plant found in that area, it's incredible how this thing works. She'll actually grow the medicine that support that flu or that outbreak of disease to support that community. And when that bacteria is no longer there, that plant will no longer grow there if it's not an original plant from that area. So the point is, this whole thing is designed and is stepping deeper into how this thing flows together and how you're such a part of it. And the first access point to all of that is neutrality. Like being able to see things from a neutral space so you can see the gift or the understanding that's trying to present itself in that moment. If you drop into a thing of like, if you tell yourself you're not worthy, or you drop into a thing, well, that shouldn't be happening because you're going to miss what that moment's trying to present. And so you stay in neutrality. If you're in your meditation and you start thinking like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store, you observe it. You're not trying to shut the thought down. You're just like, you're observing the thought, having an emotion, like understanding that all of these things are part of you, but they're not you. I know. Hard to judge us sometimes. The point is that even I had a great teacher talk about the other day how they actually label their emotions like a personality. Just so they can like, oh, what are you presenting yourself for? What are you here to offer me? What kind of communication are you offering me with this emotion? Rather than becoming the emotion and actually identifying themselves as the emotion, they actually place it into a different level of consciousness. Like, okay, that emotion of sadness has a consciousness to it and it's trying to offer me something. So it's not about separation, but it's allowing you to really empower yourself to stay in this very centered space of your being, to really witness life and all these beautiful gifts that life's trying to offer you. So that's a space of neutrality. And it's just observing. And so we're just sparking some interest and some focus around things that come up where you feel you might have judgment. And this is going to help us in our pattern work 10 weeks down the road around being in judgment, being in neutrality, seeing and witnessing what's coming up. Again, you can pose some questions, whether it be in the Telegram chat and or on an integration call around this process of how do you do that if you find it challenging to stay in neutrality. Again, if you witness yourself having judgment, don't place judgment on yourself around your judgment. Just like witness it. Wow, my mind is creating judgment around how those people are having a conversation right now. Or wow, my mind's judging me around like what you're choosing to do with your day. You're choosing to relax and take a nap instead of like get up and do some project. Like maybe your body needs rest, and you're just being intuitive around listening to that. And so just observe the things that come up. Observe when you're not in neutrality, and observe you being not in neutrality with neutrality. And it's a fun thing. This is just, and what's going to fuel your space neutrality is curiosity. Just stay curious around, because none of it is you, and all of it's you. And I'm not trying to be this dichotomy of understanding, but the point is that you're observing it all. And the more you stay curious, like, what is that about? You just continue asking these questions. What is that? What is that about? What's behind that? What's under that? And a lot of these things come from belief systems that we were ingrained in, whether we happen in our lifetime or past lives. It also can be the field of influence around how we were raised, So there's many different layers to it. And so just being able to stay neutral with it and observe. And stay curious, like, what's under there? Because when we get into the pattern work, there's so many different belief systems and identities and patterns of conscious thought that are under there. And when you can actually navigate that and witness it and see it, you feel so deeply connected to who your true essence is. You can navigate this playground of earth in a really beautiful way of just centeredness and joy and all of it. So, neutrality, and allow the spark of neutrality, or the spark of curiosity, to influence your state of neutrality. And so we'll talk about the integration call. There are two things I want to cover in this recording. One is the power of total being, and just to give a little explanation in the email around the total being practice. We are multiple layered beings. We have an emotional body, mental body, energetic body, physical body. And each one of those bodies relates to each other and the essence of who we are. And the more we can bring them into balance with each other, the more centered you're going to feel. Think of it like four different lenses coming together, and coming to alignment. Or four different bubbles laying on top of each other, like really coming in together as one. And so doing things support each part of who you are is really important. There are some practices that complement multiple parts of who you are. There are some practices that complement only singular parts of who you are. And so you don't have to try those practices I listed in the email, but just letting you some examples of things you can do to support your mental body, your emotional body, physical body, energetic body. And see which one calls to you the most. Probably the one calls too much, either the one you are focused on all the time, or it's going to be the one you don't put enough focus on. And so we're just bringing it to balance. It's our first step. And so, but the total being practice is really coming together with that alignment of bringing everything into one and bring everything into balance. And things will begin to flow when we bring those into balance. And again, you also begin to notice when they come out of balance. We need to get them in balance first, and then we can navigate from this really centered space. So focus on just something, outside of your normal practices you're already doing each day. What I was saying is pick something out of one of those bodies and implement it into your practices already. Do something new, whether it be for your physical body, your mental body, emotional body, energetic body, whatever is calling to you. Bring a new practice out of the listings and just see what calls to you. I'm kind of giving you a wide scope of this umbrella to kind of pick and choose things, and then we're going to, as we get weeks in, we're going to really narrow it down. But I really we're just like throwing some things on the wall to see what sticks in your practices. Each one is going to be different. And so finding what calls to you. Again, we're going to have some more questions on the integration call. The last thing is going to be about fasting, and it is a deep practice, a deep lineage practice, not just lineage I'm in, but as far as all lineages have a fasting practice. It's found in almost every religious book. It's found in traditions across the planet and around 100 times. There's something there to it. It's a deep practice of mine as well. I'm a preference person of dry fasting, which we can talk on the call. That's not eating or drinking for days. Different practice of fasting. Either way, what I'm suggesting with which one of you is pick something to fast. It doesn't have to be food, doesn't have to be water. You could just fast sugar, or you could fast, you could do a fasting around meat, for 12 to 24 hours. Great. If that's where you are, beautiful. Set a timer. I like to start my fast in the evening, because that way, stop eating or drinking at 9 o'clock at night. And by the time I go through my evening of sleep and wake up in the morning, I'm already 8, 10, 12 hours in to my fast. And so, there's also, you can intermittent fasting, but this is that's a different practice. Highly recommend it, but this is not the suggestion of that. This is more like to go through, really feel the fast, go through a day change of fasting. And so, again, you can pick an item like sugar or meat or something to that effect, or you can go fasting for all the food and just drink water or juice. If you do a juice fast where you only do juice, make sure we're doing green juices, organic for sure. Preferably come in a glass bottle so there's no plastic being leaked into the juice. Organic, no fruit juices. They can really spike your insulin and your sugar. Fruit's amazing. Fruit's good for you. It's nothing wrong with fruit, but we're doing something different in the fast, and we don't want to spike our insulin. So you can do that. If you have a fruit juice that has carrots that have sugar in it, that's great. But as far as juice doesn't mean you go buy something that's pineapple and mango and apple. No, we want some greens in there. If it has apple in it, most of them have some little bit of fruit. That's fine. But as far as fruit dominant juice, no, we want more of a greens dominant juice, or water. Through that aspect. And so, we'll talk more on the integration call, but just a couple pointers, when you're fasting either juice or you're fasting water or you're fasting food, or doing a dry fast, at some point in time within depending on which fast you're doing, 12 to 24 hours, your complete microbiome of your stomach recalibrates to new bacteria, which is really beautiful. Recalibrates how you digest. Depending on your fast, at the level between 17 to 36 hours, you have a 400 to 2,000% of hormone production in your system, which elevates your growth hormone, and you begin to step into autophagy. Autophagy is where your body begins to eat things like damaged cells, free radicals, scar tissue, unwanted fat around the organs, things that are limiting you from being the most potent part of who you are as an optimal biological being. Your body begins to eat it as fuel. And so this is where we're trying to get to in a really beautiful way. It's really good for just curbing sickness. It's also just really good for tuning up the system and really stepping into more of that God realm of your being, because your body begins to eat anything that's limiting itself. And within 24 to 48 hours, your brain switches from glucose dependency to keto dependency. And so many things happen that are very superhuman aspects of fasting. If this is your first time fasting, you haven't fasted for a while, you might get tired. Those are not part of fasting, those are part of detoxing. And so just know that when we get all that out of the way and you start fasting from a clear, clean space, you will feel superhuman in so many ways. So try that, either be a half a day or a full day. If you're doing the half a day, I would definitely do a half a day of maybe no food and water, just to give you an experience of fasting. If you're doing more like sugar or meat, then I would say do it for 24, 48 hours. Give yourself a little more time to experience it. If you're doing just water, I would recommend just do a 24-hour and just see how that feels. Once a day or once a month is really good, or once a week is really good. They say you want to fast 4 days a month. So 1 day a week is really good to balance system, but you can do whatever you want. Either way, love you all, and we'll talk more on the integration call. And blessings to you. Have a beautiful day.